Get back there.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on. How did you enjoy it?
I'm sorry.
How did you enjoy it?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be here. Yeah, just Peter remotely. Good afternoon, Peter. So if you would, let's pledge the flag before we get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I guess you're doing that, I want to do that, Ryan's things afterwards.
Now, Bobby, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, this meeting is also remote participation in the public meeting being recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting on YouTube. I don't think I need those particulars, right? All right, so public meeting order, this flag. The members. He's remote, myself, Tom Perry,
Back to Katie.
but Mr. Neely,
Thank you.
Elizabeth's taking notes.
Bob Perry, member.
And Missy Howard from SVP.
Okay, so old business. You discuss swap check. Update. What's happening?
You gonna take it away? So one of the things I'm gonna start with is actually the grants. Because I wasn't, I had no clue what was going to be available. For the grants.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, you
I filled this with.
excited.
Yes, new exciting things. So, so one of the things that is going to be available this year, with our April grant starting, is that, I would encourage you to make, use of getting some of these, one of these grants. I think it's a limited to only one. But one that I was really going to be pointing out was the swap shed. So you can actually get a grant that is totally dedicated for $6,000 for the swap shed. You know, you wouldn't be getting the money for this until next fall. But the thing is, it gives you time to plan for it. And then, because currently you have in your RDP grant money, it's $17,940. And some of that money you're going to need, you know, to pay for, you know, electricity and other things for the swap shed. The other thing is you don't really want to spend a lot of that money down. You want to be able to use it for other programs as well. And, you know, things for the swap.
Excuse me,
For the
for a
transfer.
second. I missed a couple of meetings. Have we got to the point where we're going forward with this?
I'm sorry.
Are we going forward with this? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Are we
No.
going forward with it?
No,
Oh, I don't know.
officially, no, we're still gathering
Right,
information.
right.
Okay.
We're still beating this up.
Yeah, yeah, so that's one of those things I would kind of almost, that's why I'm gonna kind of backtrack, because I know that was old business, so that's what I'm gonna say is like, you know, possibly putting that on hold. Because one of the things that, like others are having, you know, financial, you know, budgets are coming up and that kind of thing, so I really want to help ensure that you maximize any of the grant money that you're able to get. And some of that also means that there's going to be some changes that you need to implement. And now that the committee's focus and name has kind of changed, that would also, I imagine, be under your as well. I'm not sure. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Could I ask, but just as a
Yeah.
point of clarification?
Yep.
Since it's available next fall, we need it fall coming up 2025.
So they would fill out the application in April, and in June, and go through all this
All right.
process. And then
okay, I
Yes,
just,
yes.
I wanted to be clear when you said
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason I said last year was an anomaly, right? Do you know which month this was? We don't know. Okay, so
Who knows?
So traditionally, in the past, they often did it during America Recycles Week, which is like the second week in November. Last year, the new governor did it like 6 weeks early. This week, this year was 6 years late. So we'd shoot for like November, Recycle America Week there. This, like I said, was really an anomaly. It was kind of tricky. So really focusing on other opportunities to make sure that you still get a maximum grant amount, because some of the thresholds have been increased. We want other means to like keep trying for more and more. So some of the things that you would normally get points for in the past, you might not. So one of those I'm going to be talking about that. So let me hand it to you. Another handout.
Ron, I'm a little confused. It seems to me we're getting a force control the car. Should we probably go forward with this idea when we start talking about financing it?
Well, she's tying it in, and
Yeah,
more information on the structure, she's tying it in
Oh,
for the probability, if you could find, if we are gonna run with it, she's got the funding that available, that would be part of it.
We've got to propose something to them.
Well, what if we decide not to go to all this
And we
conversation?
don't seem okay. Are you going off of the subject that you said right now, you going on to something else?
So the thing is, so that's what I wanted to say is, reconsider, or just putting the swap shed on hold for a few months so that you can focus on changing some of your programs and adding things in to ensure that you get the grant, enough grant money, general grant money, RVP grant money, to help continue programs to go forward and to reduce your coverage. So I'm going
Well,
to.
so that brings up what Mr.
Yep.
Neely was trying to point out.
Okay.
Are we gonna run with it or not?
I don't know, it's up to you.
So it doesn't make sense to, retire the decision.
Yep.
Yeah, we're hoping for some more information today, the feedback from other towns,
Mhm.
what they're doing that similar to our makeup.
Yep.
And I don't know if we're ready for a vote on the committee level today or not, but we could be. Are we gonna run with this or not?
Well, I've seen a lot of things online. People have said, come to the end of my driveway at this address. Out in the driveways.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I think it would be wise of us to go ahead and put in place all the criteria. What I mean by that, how you going to, where is it going to be? What are the rules for you can leave this here or you can't leave it there? Who's going to operate it? All those kinds of things. So if we're able to go forward with a grant, we can do it like right now. You're 100% ready to do it. David mentioned he has background in logistics. How would we operate the thing? I personally think this is doable and we shouldn't wait until saying, yeah, you can get the grant to put
Right.
this
Oh,
together.
definitely.
I think it should be, have a bow on it and ready to just drop on the state.
Yep.
That's my view.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had some long discussions with myself about this, the pros and the cons. I got a good thing going, I get something to offset it. And you talked about some of the things. Location, Tom and I took a ride a couple of months ago, looking at places to put up a shed. We wound up in the landfill. And I kind of like that place because it allows somebody to be there to monitor the thing. I'm not completely sold on the idea yet. It's a good idea, but every time I have a good point, I offset it with a bad point. And I don't know. I'm not sold on the idea right now, but I understand, we gotta get going because we need to get the financing in place in April and stuff like that. So
Right. Which is next month.
Tom and I, do what, you mind me telling you what we decided at the landfill? There was, what do you call those, storage units?
Yep.
Shipping containers. Yep.
Shipping containers. There was there. Yeah, one of the ideas we came up with was a large shipping container inside the gate at the landfill. That's another thing that, I'm looking, I actually had some of it in here. Somebody had a swap shed or something like that, which I thought was kind of small. But we don't know whether this thing is going to take off or not take off. Do we need a big one? Do we need a medium one, a small one? It's just so many questions that I'm not sure how to get an answer to it.
Well, I do know Missy's got bigger ideas than what I have.
But anyway,
I think I foresee our program being a hybrid. Are you guys familiar with Buy Nothing?
With what?
Buy Nothing in Dayton?
Yeah.
So it's specific for Dayton Rehoboth. It's a virtual site where you post something to be given away.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I didn't know,
driveway,
I didn't know the
yeah, yeah,
terminology.
right.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So I haven't, I asked through the TA if we'd have a problem referring that on our website. Because now the person that has this thing to get rid of owns it. They're offering it, they're doing the legwork, it gets picked up from them,
Right.
we're out of the picture. So these still not going to landfill, but yet we can still promote it through, referring to that
What
site.
do you mean, we're out of what picture?
We would never get the item. It would go from their house to someone else's house.
So if we put a,
We wouldn't have the liability of have to dispose of it if it never left.
oh, okay,
That's the part I like.
you're talking in conjunction with us putting up a shed,
A program.
right?
So we would post it on our site. And I think you guys are strong on, we should still physically take stuff that is good. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the other part of it. So not just the virtual part, but the actual physical part. So I like the idea of not having the liability of having to dispose of something, but still promote it on a town level.
So I'm confused. Are you saying we don't do the shed?
Both,
Both, he's saying
both.
we have like a spot.
When you just said.
So that's tied in.
You just said we don't have liability to imply that.
Well, it's if you went virtual only, but it's tied in with the discussion now because it could affect the size of the shed.
Mhm.
Is what I'm getting at. You might not need something as huge as,
Gotcha.
because it's a hybrid. You're doing both.
and this has a good advantage. In that, again, it's a smaller footprint of the swap shop. And then also residents can get rid of larger things rather than having to schlep them in a car or a truck and then bring them here. They can just go on your porch and, the Buy Nothing, people can just get them there. So it does have, a really good advantage for your residents as well. And a lot of communities do this already. They already have
Yeah.
these things promoted already and it's just revamping your website, really.
I think it's a good point, the hybrid thing. I hadn't thought about that, but again, if I was to put something out at the end of my driveway, go online and say, this, whatever it is available. And after a couple of 3 or 4 days, nobody picked it up. I'm gonna bring it down, transfer station, I'm gonna pay to have it disposal, but it's gonna go in the weight. Whereas people, they know that if it doesn't disappear from the end of my driveway at the end of 2 or 3 days, I can take it down to the swap shed.
I've noticed people don't do that. They'll post it. It don't go outside yet until the arrangement's made.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being kind of, if it doesn't disappear from their house, their property, okay?
What's weird is like the last 3 or 4 weeks, because I've been watching it. I'm new to it, but I've been watching the items. It seems to be a large volume of rigid plastics.
Yes.
A lot of kid stuff.
Huge.
So
Huge.
that's a big deal
Mhm.
because that doesn't have a place in the market either.
Yeah.
For the end life.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing. That alone is a good thing to have because that's a way to get
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
extend their life and it's not going to landfill.
That's a great point. Definitely. The rigid plastic is huge. The thing is, it doesn't
Yeah.
grade quite as much as upholstered furniture, and it's plastic and it lasts forever. So it's a really good point.
Yeah, I think that's a
Definitely.
good idea.
The grant ability, though, needs to be submitted by April.
Yeah, so that would just be
It's
to,
only weeks away.
yes. Well, that's when it starts.
Okay.
And that particular grant is very easy. It's just basically like, yeah, we have a site in mind. Yeah, we've
good.
talked to the select board. Yeah, we're gonna do this kind of
So
thing.
it's not right down into the weeds of this is how many hours we're gonna operate?
no.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely not.
It's just to make it available to us and hold
Exactly.
that money for us.
Yeah. And again, because if it's a new swap shed, a new concept to your community, it could change very easily. Like you might think, oh, hey, we're gonna have it open 7 days a week, and then you realize it's not going to be, volunteers or whatever, summer hours or so. It's not down into the weeds at all. It's probably one of our
Okay.
easier grants to do, to submit, to reply to.
Well, on that basis, I think, we can still go on with these discussions about how we like to approach the issue, but I'd say we apply for the grant. What's the worst thing that can happen? Either A, you don't get it, or B, if we say, well, we really don't want to do it, and we were just say,
Yeah,
pull a
exactly.
name.
So do we,
Can you apply for a grant when we haven't made the decision?
I'm sorry?
Can we apply for a grant when we haven't made the decision?
When you apply for the grant, if you get it and you decide, we don't want it, that's fine. That happens all the time. Sometimes people just aren't ready, like the location that you had in mind flooded, okay, so it's very flexible with that. And it doesn't hurt your impact of any other grants or anything like
well, I
that.
was going to ask for a motion to move forward with it, but you want to hold off
On what?
on moving forward with a swap shed? I mean,
I think we should take a vote on it as soon as we can.
that way there, we all are on the same page,
Nitty gritty.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got to get into the nitty gritty, because if we do accept it, we've got to be ready when the thing hits the ground to operate it 100%.
So the grant is for 6,000 for the swap shed. And then because I did close to 18,000 in your general RDP, that if you want to use, for shelving, electricity, foundations and all that other
I
stuff.
think I sent you that one.
You did,
I
yeah.
sent it to you. I sent it
It's kind of, to be honest, it's big. So if we're gonna go with
It's
Tom's, like,
not that big.
what size?
It's
is it?
maybe
40.
40,
Okay,
40. And you can use it as storage for something else.
Okay.
Those doors open up
Side-
individual.
Side
oh,
doors.
yeah, she sent me the photo.
And
now.
they're brand new.
Wow,
It's not, they ship them
Yeah.
over from China and they don't bring them back. So that's
so
why,
the thing is, the grant was only for 6,000, so the additional 2,000 or whatever, it's fine. A lot go over, but it's just, that's the starter
yeah,
price.
the base.
So
I would make a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we can make a motion second and then it'll be discussion, but I do have a question for Peter, so it's either before or after.
Okay. Well, I motion that we move forward with accepting or moving forward the state program for a swap shed. I guess that's the best way. to put it.
Why are you putting state in there? What's that all about?
It's grants coming from the state. All right, let me revise what I
Okay.
said. I suggest this committee move forward with trying to obtain whatever is necessary for the swap shed program. Is that
The grant for the swap shed program
the swap shed?
through, do you want to say through DEP?
That motion runs on the assumption that we approve the idea of the grant of the shed.
Okay, let's prove that. Make a motion. We,
I think Mr. Neely just needs a motion that the committee is interested in moving forward with
Okay.
that concept of the swap shed.
Second.
So is there any discussion? I do have a discussion. Is there any other discussion?
Not for me.
Okay. Peter, are you available for a question?
Peter, you're on mute. I don't know if you know that or not. There you,
Am I off of mute now?
There you go. I
Yeah,
can hear
sorry
you now.
about that.
Yep.
Yes, I'm available for questions.
So you heard us, the way the discussion's going. My question is, technically, there's not a monetary value to the motion except for receiving a grant.
Right.
So where is this going? Are we making a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen or it's just staying at the committee level.
I would say it would just stay at the community level. There's no money exchanged at all. You have a shed that we're not paying for, unless the grant money is going to go towards that. There's no reason for the selectmen to be involved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion?
Can I just ask one quick question? What
Sure.
are the hours only going to be when the transfer station is open?
Though, that's to be worked out. I think we're gonna be working on that in the next few months.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah. Obviously, it would be at least when it's open. I think beyond that would probably be entertaining volunteerism or something like that. Yep.
Okay,
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Passes.
Great.
Now we get that going.
Yep.
Do we need to act any more on the swap shed today? Any further discussion?
On the swap shed, what?
Do we need any more information exchange? Did you bring any other from the
I
other
mean,
towns?
I have, you know, what Barb had pulled up before on the various towns, but I mean, I think the suggestion of like form, you know, a committee kind of thing, because this is, you know, what Barb had before. I mean, I did.
Yes.
I don't know if everyone else has their other copies, but,
To everybody.
and then I have a few other that I print out now that I think about it. So I wanted to actually kind of look at communities of similar size to see what their swap sheds are, and then actually go in and compare them of, you know, the hours they're open and that kind of thing. So you can really get a look to see what is doable for your population. You know, some of these, and again, it's hard to compare because some of these communities are a drop-off trash.
Right.
So they're open 6 days a week, you know, pretty much every day kind of thing. So I'll be honest, I don't think that's doable. I think maybe,
Mhm.
you know, whatever your normal hours are, or whenever you're able to get volunteers would be a good time to do that. So,
Have you heard about, I think it's Halifax, Plimpton area? There's supposed to be a really good swap shop up there.
Halifax,
Halifax,
I-
Plimpton.
I have been to I've been to both of them.
Really?
Plimpton does not have theirs anymore. They
Okay.
got rid of it because they had no volunteers. It was a gorgeous, you know, it looked like a single wide trailer, actually,
Mhm.
really nice, like a FEMA kind of thing. Yeah, they're not using it anymore because of that. Medfield lost theirs, the same thing. So that's the other part that's really,
Right.
you know,
That's one of the issues I had with myself when I
know.
talked about it, you know,
Yes.
volunteers and
yeah, so.
how to man it and what, you know.
And it's again, at the manning it and like, you know, making it sustainable so that it can go forward 5 years. So it's not just one person or two people handling it, but there's, you know, a really big, you know, support underneath for it. So
That's
there's,
one of the things I liked about the landfill up there, because you have somebody up there already.
Correct.
Mhm.
And then I think Bob touched this on. We can't really do a soft opening. We can't really start the program without the container
exactly.
because it's going to
exactly.
be excitement at first and we'll
Yeah,
probably get
yeah.
flooded.
I mean, what you could do is like you know, what you're talking about, putting it on the website, you know, kind of getting people a little more, you know, familiar with, hey, you know, put it on the curb and here's this you know, the app that you can look to see what's available and stuff and on social media.
Right.
You can start doing that and promoting that a little bit more, you know, with your residents, with those options. And then they just start, you know, especially with the kids' bulky waste toys and stuff. This is the time, like, you know, people are, you know, trying to get rid of it all with that. So,
And grabbing it too.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
People want
I
it
mean,
too.
my doggy daycare uses it. They do, little dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, so any of those things. So, yeah, and the other nice thing is that it doesn't just have to be people from your community that take it away. It's like
Mm.
someone else can come and get your, you know, your trash and take care of it that way. So. But
Okay.
yeah,
So that's
there's a lot
another
that you're
thing.
gonna need to look at, you know, later on.
Yeah.
Like maybe in the next couple of months, but for like, I think right now it's making sure that you get the grant money and keep it at, you know, a good level that you've been at.
Would they notify us that we are getting the grant money?
Again, it would be in November.
Oh, they don't tell you till
They
then.
don't tell you till then. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, you have the money that you have a dedicated account. So, you could take that 8,000 out and start, getting it. And then when the swap shed money comes in, then you can,
Oh, really? We put it back in that,
yeah,
the general
Yeah.
fund?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it specifically had to be used with that, but if we ear tagged it, then we could use.
But I mean, as long as you're spending that 6,000.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Because will all go into your same, RDP,
Right.
SMRP general fund. But there's some changes that, like I said, will take a little while to make sure, you get so the things to make sure that you get a grant level of points to get a good amount of money. I want to give you money, guys, to do that. And some of this stuff will require some work on the health department or like Tom's department and some things that are going to need to be, money will also need to be spent on this as well. So we call the program, it's investing in, your future
Right.
with it. So,
Now, is that guaranteed,
well,
the money? Or with everything going on in the government, is that they're supposed
yes,
to give it?
yes,
but
it
then all of a
is.
sudden,
So the reason is that this funding is coming out of, not going to get too much into it, waste to energy credits. Actually, I only have one more, so sorry about that.
I got it.
I got it.
I'm sorry.
Do you have one?
I'm sorry, I only have one more, sorry. I meant to- And I need one. So yes, so what it basically is that the incinerators have to pay a credit and all this
Okay.
stuff. And that is how basically I'm funded, how all of this program is funded. It's through like a fee on the incinerators.
Okay.
We were a little worried because it was going to be going away. But I guess it has now been actually put in as a law in Boston.
So it's like a self-sufficient.
Yes, exactly. So, and it's not going away, which is really
Good,
good.
okay.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah, that's really good.
we go
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Spend the money and then we say, oh.
No,
well, we
no,
get
this
it.
is, that was actually really good news. We were very worried about that. So that is, so the program that I wanted to talk about, because this is the grant, the RDP grant that's going to open up in April. So RDP stands for Recycling Dividends Program. And then there's a big umbrella over that of where the shed grant comes from, and there's a whole bunch of other grants as well that you can apply for next year. So next year, if you wanted to apply for compactor, you could do that.
Yeah, we just received
that.
that.
Yeah, you just received that one. So I just had that as a copy, so you can kind of know what you did. So what's happening with this is a lot of things are changing. So the points that you got last year, unless we change some things and add some things in, you won't be getting them again. And that's really what I want to talk about, to make sure you get them,
Okay.
to get that good money. Like that.
What's the difference between a sustainable purchasing policy and the EPP?
Yep.
Procurement policy?
So that is again, something else that we're going to be working on late spring, because again, it's a policy change that's depending on your community, whether it could just be approved by this committee or it'd have to go to a town meeting or a select board or wherever, I'm not sure. But it's becoming more common as a lot of communities become part of the Green Communities Program and the MVP program, that it is a requirement that you have to have the EPP policy. So that big buy recycle policy memo and all that stuff that we were all fighting, not fighting, but like trying to get sent out. That was done 20 to 30 years ago, has not been updated or changed. So that is going to take its place. So there'll be like a webinar on that as well. And then I'll be working hand in hand with everyone to make sure we get that done as well. So that's what that means with that. So, whoops, I do have another one. Just, we need one, there we go, sorry. So I have so many different things here.
A lot of yellow,
I was just.
I know.
I'm sorry, what?
awful lot of yellow.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's so you don't look at all the other things.
A lot of yellow, yeah.
They highlight the good things and they
Yeah,
don't tell you
yeah.
about the
So-
bad things.
So last year, you got 8 points. The year before that, you were able to get 10 points. And the only reason it was just that there was a lot of change and things happening when this was due. So there were a couple of points that were missed. But when you go up to on the back of this sheet, is that when you look at this, it has the points that you received.
Sheet is that?
Oh, did I give it to her? No, I didn't. Wait a minute, here we go, sorry. Okay. What? You got it. And
No,
Tom, you have one, I gave one to you, right?
let me see. That is so hard to read with my eyes.
It's my printer at
Which
home,
one you
it's
got,
really
the-
bad, I realize that.
Long receipt? Is that what you got for it?
I'm only teasing her.
Oh, it is, well, for me, it's hard.
Teasing them.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, I'm just using it for an example. So it's the one from last year, but, so some of the points that I'm concerned about, is the, Center for Hard to Recycle Materials. That programming has changed for that. And last year you got 2 points for it. And so if we look at this thing with all the yellow, it has all the new changes and requirements for it. And so that is on page 3, and I'm gonna apologize for it being flipped over the wrong way. It was the printer at Taunton. So in the past, we got 2 points, but it's changed a little bit this year. Actually, if you go to page 4, that you need to have a total of 12 items in the Charm Center. 2 of them are required. That's a new requirement, is that they're required. That you have to have the mercury bearing items, basically a universal waste shed, which you do. You just got it right.
Oh, we've had it for years.
I'm sorry.
We've had it for years.
Okay.
Unless we just got it.
I was gonna say
added.
I can't remember. I'm trying to like,
Right.
someone else got it. Yeah, so you have it. So that's good. You have that requirement. And then you have textiles already.
Mhm.
So that's great. That means that you have it. So we're on page 4. The pages are at the bottom. They're little teeny tiny ones. And it'll say Charm, and Charm stands for Center for Hard to Recycle Materials. So you have the textile, so you made the 2 requirements. That's good. To get the 2 points that you had last year means that you have to have 10 of these. And Tom, I don't know if you do or not. I think you only have like maybe 8.
So we do tires. You say we have to do the batteries? It says
No.
and batteries.
Yes,
Batteries is a banned item.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want us to take batteries?
yes.
Well, we take batteries,
Yeah.
not the car batteries.
Not the what ones?
Car battery,
Right, that's what it is, because it's an automotive, the lead acid batteries are the car batteries. Right,
when there's a market for it, we could.
it's.
Right
that
now, it's on our banned items.
Right,
Batteries are.
so do you, but what do you, I can't, oh, I do have the list, I'm sorry. I printed out some of the things. I have the list of what you,
It's, I needed it. for
here we go,
later on the
here we
agenda.
go. No, that's wrong. Oh, here we go, I got it, okay.
So right now, our banned items,
Okay. you got-
propane tanks, lead acid batteries, paint, oils, barrels, cement blocks, bricks, blacktop, sheet rock, roofing material,
hold-
automotive seats, gas tanks, transmissions, tree butts, trunks, and stumps.
Okay, you went too fast.
No, I did
Slow
not.
down again. I have it right here. I was gonna say, I was gonna check it off as we went.
All right,
Okay.
right now, our banned items are propane tanks,
So you have propane?
banned.
Oh, you do have it, okay. Okay.
Lead acid batteries are banned at this time. Paints,
So these are the ones you do not have. Okay,
oils,
okay.
Oil,
Yeah.
all paints or just oil?
all paints, oils,
Okay,
barrels.
so, and then the one thing
You're
is,
checking them off, huh? You
no,
want me to
actually,
keep reading?
because I'm gonna go back through.
You want me to keep reading the banned items?
Actually, I just want to know what items you do have. Yeah,
That list is longer.
I'm sorry.
That list is longer. So.
Okay, actually, I have it. So,
Take air conditioners.
you take the automotive waste.
No.
Let's see, books. Okay, 3 bulky rigid plastic, which will be going down, I'm sure. 4 electronic waste. No on fire extinguishers. Yes. Oh, so do you also take lithium batteries?
Yes. they'll-
Okay, okay,
They
okay,
go in a container inside. the
okay,
garbage
awesome. Okay, great.
At this time.
Okay, perfect.
I think
Large
that's- that's
appliance,
Probably the safest place for them right there.
yes, yeah. You were on our webinar that we did this week?
No,
Okay, so we did record it and it's excellent. We've gotten compliments. It's one of the best ones that we've ever done because it really is impressive. All those fires. So let's see, large appliances. Mattresses. No. Plastic films, no. Textiles has been removed. Wood, yes. And shredded paper, no. String lights, yes. Okay, so here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You need 10 to get your 2 points. And so I have a plan for you.
so the batteries with the tires don't count as two separate ones.
Nope.
They're together.
No, that's all lumped in as automotive.
Just to be difficult.
Yeah.
Question on
Yeah.
that. When I asked
So
the
one,
batteries,
I didn't do a printout of this. I didn't want to throw too much paper at you. The plastic films and plastic bags. So there's a company called Trex. And they accept these things. And what they do is they actually work with municipalities. They work with nonprofit groups, whatever you want to figure out how to do it. But you could have a collection at the site here. They need to be clean and dry. So it'd have to be, in a lidded tote kind of thing like that. And then there are stores out there. And one that just kind of joined the group is Ocean State Job Lot. So if you were to contact Ocean State Job Lot and see if they would allow you to bring your plastic bags to them, say once a month. And what they would do is they would bundle up their plastic bags and shrink wrap. So anyone, if you've ever seen in grocery stores where what are those big pallets are 38 miles of this plastic shrink wrap. It's heavy, it's expensive, but it can be recycled. And so a lot of stores are, collecting this and sending it to the company for that. And Ocean State Job Lot is one of the newer ones that is working directly with Trex on it, and they'll have the bins in the stores. But if you were to contact them and see if you could work out an arrangement like once a month where you could drop it off for them, it shouldn't be an expense for them at all. If anything, it's helping them.
Meet a quota.
Yeah. So it's what I want to say, my low hanging fruit that's easy and really wouldn't really cost you any money. It'd just be somebody running to the nearest home, Ocean State Job Lot, which there's 2 in Taunton.
And that's one
There's
point.
also some other big box stores
Peter
that
had a
have,
Question.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
one. No, it's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that is 1 point for that.
unfortunately, I can't.
That's
remember.
one
point. How many
That-
points?
So if we do that one extra activity, then it means that you have met the criteria for having 10 activities.
And that gives us 2 more points.
That's what you said.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I'm
It
sorry.
gives you
That's
2
2
more
more
points.
points.
So no, this is allowing you to maintain the 2 points that you had
Okay.
last year.
Right. Okay. I understand.
Now, at the end, it says plastic bags and film collected at local grocery or retail stores do not
Right.
qualify.
Because what the idea of Mass DEP wants a municipality to have skin in the game, either financial or collecting it or something. If some business is already collecting it and doing it, you don't really have any involvement at all. Like,
Okay, but would they mind if we get a hold
No,
of Ocean
no.
State?
yeah,
Okay.
no. I mean, you would have to take it to them.
Yeah.
You can't just tell your residents, take it there yourself.
Right.
You would have to collect it here and then, transport it there.
Okay.
Couple of questions. Item number one. This is lead acid battery.
Yes,
Do they require special storage?
I'm sorry.
Do they require special storage?
I don't know,
Yes.
Tom.
Fire chief has an opinion on that. Actually, the state fire marshal does.
That's what I.
And Department of Transportation, you're only allowed to carry so much weight at a time. So we could bring it to a local facility, but you can only bring so much weight at one time without a special license.
Second, that's what I thought. Thank you. Second question, waste oil.
Yep.
Okay. That would belong to the town, correct? We
Yes.
had a, okay, so we could, if there was a market, people that have, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
industries that have oil, waste oil burning furnaces, we could sell it to them.
Mhm.
If, okay.
Yeah, yep.
The other thing, last question, I'm looking at, for instance, item number 14, string lights, Christmas tree.
Yep.
You have to offer the service. Does it count towards obtaining points if you offer the service, even if none are ever delivered to you?
As long as there is a container in the transfer station that will accept those, that's fine. Whether, if no one ever uses it, that's,
Okay.
I guarantee you they
Outside-
do.
Outside of the metal pile, you mean?
I'm sorry.
Outside of the metal pile. Right now, we do take
Ideally,
it.
yeah, ideally, so
So that's an easy one.
it is, it really is.
That's why I
Yeah,
asked the
yeah.
question,
easy
because,
one.
we can
And we-
separate
You
that.
had,
I see
We had
10
that
on,
last
I
year.
see 10 on the list that we
I'm sorry?
have. I see 10 on the list that we have.
Yeah,
Almost have.
yeah.
And
So
then
you
number
just need one-
16, and number 16 we have.
oh my gosh, yes,
we
we
have-
forgot about that one, okay. Oh, gosh,
So
yeah.
the
so
string,
yard
the
waste,
string
yes.
lights is doable. That could
Yeah,
happen this
yeah.
weekend,
You have that already from last year.
String lights?
So, yeah, you have it, yeah, you have yes from last year. So
Well,
yes,
Yeah,
you're-
because we
you're-
received them. It
yeah,
just
you're
wasn't
done. Yeah,
isolated
yeah.
container.
you're done with that, then, yeah, I apologize, I'm being,
We
yes.
do have a container for that. It's just not labeled.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah. And then it's always kind of good to have like a reserve in your pocket kind of thing, thinking about maybe adding something at some point. So the plastic bags, it's something if you want to do a test pilot or whatever in the future, you could do that. Because the other thing is, the more you offer at your transfer station, the more your residents want to come there. And, they want to get that sticker and pay for it. So you kind of want to have like a one-stop shopping for them. So,
Right.
but,
Did we have last year electronic wastes?
yep.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so this is actually, the ones I circled, I'm sorry.
Are the ones that we have?
Yeah, those are the
Okay.
ones that you
Oh.
have. So you do have the 10 with that. So we're good with that.
Now, the paint, there is an outfit, I think it's in Bridgewater. They collect the paint and they use it for, is it Homes for Humanity or something like
Yeah.
that?
So there's a company called Recolor.
That's it.
Yep, and they do collections and stuff. There is like more, oh, you can
I
use
could
that.
just-
So there is a cost associated with it. It's not really all that much.
We've done that before, haven't we, Tom?
We've collected. paint.
Not giving it to a third party, no.
Not
Where
what?
does it usually,
Not giving it to a third party, no.
where does it
When
usually?
I bought the paint up before, where did it go?
We had a hazardous waste day, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
So we pay for that
Yeah.
big time.
And that was one of the other programs that I had a meeting about last week about, because you haven't, when was the last time you've had one?
Probably 4 years now.
Okay.
That's when. I was,
So can talk about that another time about ways to have residents for your access, but really lower your costs. What
do you mean?
So what in the North Shore, they have a lot of this is, it's called a reciprocal agreement. So let's say, Dayton and Berkeley and maybe, I don't know, Taunton, you all decided to like share in allowing your residents come to the events, then you would not be paying the full amount, but your residents would be allowed to participate in the program. And then there are some towns that will have it like twice a year. And then we put everyone all into this big pool. And as long as you have some financial skin in the game again, then you would get actually 2 points for this.
Wow.
But it would mean that you would need to come up with, to do this every year, depending on who and how you would share it with. Again, you know your neighbors better than I do, somebody you could work with, maybe split the costs, 2 or 3 of them. Because it runs, I'm not even gonna say how much it runs anymore. It's gone up and the contract is changing again. So that is something that you could do.
Another question.
Yep.
Okay, item 11, shredded paper.
Item 11.
Yes.
Yep.
Events conducted at a local business will qualify if promoted by the municipality. What does if promoted by the municipality mean?
So what this would be is that a lot of times banks or civic groups will hold paper shredding events, like it's an Earth Day event or after taxes. So as long as they hold it somewhere, doesn't even have to be on town property, but as long as the town promotes it, and this is again where the importance of your website and the social media and all that comes into play. As long as the town promotes it and it says, hey, everyone, take your shredded paper here, that would qualify.
Okay, so let me just set up a scenario just so I can.
Yep.
Let's say the XYZ business is going to have an event. The municipality, us, promotes it on a site. Could the XYZ facility say, hey, bring your stuff, we'll shred it for $5 per cubic foot? Can that happen? As long as we're promoting, say, hey,
Yeah,
this is
it doesn't
happening?
say that there's a fee. It doesn't mention anything about a fee.
So if we promote it and XYZ says, oh, we're gonna charge you $5 a cubic foot.
Yeah.
So we would so obtain the point. Okay.
Now, doesn't the town have a shredder? And where does that material go to? I
You have
know
a shredder in the town hall.
we had talked about it before, but
I wouldn't offer that to the public.
I don't.
No,
Pretty
but
heavy
where
duty.
does that material go to? Don't you have a quota you
Usually,
have to fill? or
usually it's a
something?
gigantic truck.
That just goes in with our curbside to CMAS, to answer your question.
Okay,
What Missy said, I can't remember which entity it is. It might be something from the high school or the Girl Scouts. Once in a while, they'll do a shredding event. And if we just promote it.
Yeah.
That's all she's saying.
Okay, well, that's why I asked.
I just
What
don't
does it
know,
mean?
I just don't know what it was. I think it was Girl Scouts.
And to be honest, like where it seems to be banks really like this. So banks have, fund of community money that they can do. And this is one that kind of helps them because, helps their clients and they're, getting rid of their,
So the last one that was close to us that we were available, it was where the Rainham Lions meet at the Paw Farm.
Mhm.
And it was electronic disposal and shredding event.
that's another event,
So we could have advertised that and got the credit.
but it would have to be in your municipality though,
Well,
the paper shredding thing. Was Rainham, you said it in Rainham or the Rainham?
yeah, but our residents could have went there. It was open. to us.
Okay, yeah.
We just needed to promote it.
so that would be
That,
covered.
that may be an
No,
annual thing.
so
I can
that-
check on that. Yeah.
So in that case, that would not count. It would need to be held in your municipality.
Just to be difficult.
Yes. But there's some other things we let you do that with. So
Come on.
it's not, it kind of changes, but for that particular one, no. So we actually fought really hard to even get this changed the way it was. It used to be all these things had to be located right in your yard, like right in your transfer station
Mhm.
yard.
Right.
We were able to fight, not fight, but ask Boston to consider that some of these towns are so small. How about the textile bin, maybe at the schools? Could that count? How about the book bins at the library? Could that count? And they said yes. So it's, gotten expanded, but it still needs to be in your municipality, just not in the transfer station. So it's actually, they loosen that up. So good. So you've got that one. That was my one I was a little concerned about. The other one that, and again, it was just simply because of the timing last year that you missed it, is so the diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm sorry, I'm back to this sheet right here, this one that's really hard to read. There we go. And if you flip over on the back there, back here. So if you move down to diversity, equity, and inclusion, that is 0 for that. And it was just because, again, timing. And that is a really easy one to get. See where that one is. Okay.
We're on our own turf,
I'm sorry,
on our own turf, though.
on your own turf. So that's on page 5 of the yellow highlighted one. And with this one, you need to have on your website a multilingual recycling guide. And I've sent them out, and it's on our Recycle, I think you might have it on there. So on the Recycle Smart MA. So as long as that's on there, that is a requirement. And then, let's see,
What does
and
multilingual mean?
I'm sorry?
What does multilingual mean? One language or?
It means more than English. So,
So it includes more, it's more than one. then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so I usually encourage Portuguese and Spanish down here.
So if it will depend on the language, the foreign language that's prevalent in the community.
Yep, so I have some communities where they have Russian on there. I have some where it's Haitian, depending on what who their community is. But for general, where everyone doesn't really kind of know, we just do Spanish and Portuguese, unless you know. So for that one, you already kind of have that one on the website, but you need to have 2 other activities. And I think Heather was almost ready to get everything up, and she might even have done it. And it just didn't get noted. So let's see, the options are, one would be a reduced or subsidized pay tea bag or stickers were available for low-income people or residents experiencing hardships. It does not mean an across-the-board discount for senior citizens. It would have to be very specific, like usually residents who are part of an abatement program or families who get SNAP or something like that, something that can be approved. It's a little trickier. Taunton has it, but they have that pretty big. Ones I'm going to suggest that are easy would be number 3, where, and I think Heather might have done that or was in the process of doing that last year, where you have a multilingual trash or recycling guidance signage posted at the drop-off location. So as long as she takes one of those recycling guides that are on the website and gets that as a sign at the transfer station, that would count. You have enough time that you could actually order a fairly large sign for it. And, you do have the funds for that. If it comes down to, it's a week before the grant's in, it's still not done.
Go with our crayons and.
Yeah, pretty much. Just print out an 8.5 by 11 sheet, laminate it. It actually lasts a year, but
Here you go, Tom.
yeah, we're talking about this
You're talking
early
about
enough.
all the signage, or
Nope, it would just have to be a multilingual recycling guidance. So that guide that is on the website. I mean, if you want to go crazy and put bags, balsa for bags and, you can do that too, but just to get this
no,
point.
where I think they would need the aid, yes, like cardboard here.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, unless, if you want to, you can go for it.
Is that 1 or 2 points?
I'm sorry,
One,
that is one activity.
oh, it's an activity part of it.
Activity, yes.
Okay.
So we're making things activities. You have to have a lot of them
Good.
now. The other one, again, going for really easy here. Multilingual trash and recycling guides were distributed at schools for students and families. Again, take that same guide that I've been talking about the whole time that's on the website, now on your transfer station, give them to the schools and ask them to, whatever way they distribute information to the students. Some schools use a virtual backpack. Some still have handouts instead of doing, they'll have flyers that
Right.
are digital. Whatever the school wants to do that. And then you would need to like provide the names of the schools and that kind of thing with that. And then you would need to do, we pretty much have your points for that one. So that was a point you didn't get last year.
We have to do them all.
I'm sorry?
We have to do them all.
Nope. Nope. So these are the ones I'm working on this one last year, the points you didn't get to make sure you get them. So we're talking about them now. So we don't get it at the very end.
Reduction of the transfer station fee, that one's not an
I'm
easy
sorry?
one. Because number 6 would not be
Yeah,
easy.
yep. Nope, that's what I'm going for low hanging fruit, easy and cheap. I do that with everybody, unless they really want to make it complicated. So if you just do those 3 things, you'll get it. But you will have to document. So you'll have to take a photo at the transfer station of that multilingual sign there, and you'll have to upload that.
Now, if we lowered the fee for, let's say, like seniors, would that count?
No, so seniors are not, we're looking for low income
Okay.
or, I mean, just because you're elderly doesn't mean you're low income, you know. Some people are more money than I do. But yeah, just giving them because you've reached a certain age is
Right.
not considered a diversity and equity. You just want people to be able to have the same access of putting their trash out as their neighbors, you know, if they can't afford it.
I have another question.
Yep.
If I may,
What page?
page, item number 10. No. Requiring all new residential construction with the exception of single-family dwellings. Here's the question, to include a provision that requires recycling services be provided to all household units.
Mhm.
Who would be providing that? And what type of recycling services would that
So you're
address?
looking at number 10.
Correct.
So that would be a bylaw that the town would pass. And I'm working on a lot of my drop-off stations for this.
Okay.
What it basically means is that you pass a law that anyone who contacts a private hauler to pick up their trash. I know you guys have such good services, you can't even imagine that. So you would, so let's say you have an apartment building that comes into town or a condo or something like that. And they would not be eligible to use the trash program because you only take up to so many units.
Okay.
The law would state that the hauler must be registered with the town and fill out all this paperwork, but also that they must provide to those units trash and recycling in a bundled program. The apartment pays it, not the town. The town is just enforcing and passing the law. It's guaranteeing that those residents are getting recycling because many haulers do not provide recycling.
How about if you have something that's currently operating in that fashion? Would that count?
Such as,
Such as we have certain private right across the street. I don't know, they have trash pickup. I think they have recycling. That is in place, in being
Yep.
right now.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, and other private entities, you know, dwellings, currently in place with this requirement, would that count towards points?
yeah,
If it
so
exists?
this would just be another activity with it, and it's actually a good thing to have. A lot of towns are just passing them as already. But yeah, so any private entity, for whatever reason, they don't want to use the service provided by the town, they don't like the bags, or I don't know, whatever. Then yes, if you pass up an ordinance or bylaw in the town, that hauler must register with the health department or whoever you want. I know, they're going, oh no, there's more to do. But that they must register with the town, and, you know, provide insurance documentation, all this stuff. A lot of towns regulate who collects trash in their town. But yes, so in answer to your question, the short is, yes, even private households. would
Okay,
be- Yeah, so it would be the same thing. And then you could also do it for businesses. So if you made this law that would cover residential and commercial, it means that all the haulers would need to register with the town and that they would need to provide trash and recycling services in a bundled program to their clients. And then there's other paperwork that they fill out, like how much tonnage they're collecting and things like that. And the reason for that is because in Massachusetts, Mass DEP does not have legislative authority. We don't make laws. We have bans and other things like that. So to ensure that it's happening, the towns and actually have we're more of a paper tiger in that aspect. The town actually has more authority to do that. So that's why it exists.
Mr. Chairman, I must depart. I have a family issue that I need to take care of, and I have to leave at 4, and I'm very sorry about that.
May he be excused? Tommy, come on, excuse me.
I'm just,
Oh, sorry.
No matter how the vote goes. Anyway, I got a little guy that,
I was just checking the
Sorry.
agenda to see if there's something I needed from him. That's, yes.
yeah, it's just worked out that work schedules and such, I have a little guy I need to pick up, or otherwise.
Aren't
he's gonna
you
be out
lucky?
By himself.
You're lucky.
Don't want that to happen, that's for sure.
No.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
for your
much, Bob.
questions. Before you go, I'm going to give you another flyer.
Wait a minute.
One of the things I wanted-
More paper.
Yeah, more
Oh, yeah.
paper, more paper.
Shred, so you can
Yeah,
shred it
my
later.
You can
apologies,
compost it,
Tom, but
paper is
Yeah, that's right, it is compost.
So again, that was one easy one that you could get. The other one, the point, again, back on here are organics. And it's an easy point for your residents, and I think it's gonna help. Borges is gonna love it because it'll remove food from your tea bags. It'll also decrease your tonnage. But a lot of my towns offer composter, backyard composter. And on the back of this, I have the cost of it from combines and stuff like that. You can split it with another town if you don't think you're gonna get that many, but they run about, by the time you get all the shipping and stuff, they're like $70. You can charge the residents the full price. I would maybe suggest if you do it for a couple of years to offset that price and subsidize some of the price for it, maybe bring it down to 50 or whatever you want to really encourage your residents to do that. And then by doing something like that, and then again, getting on the website information about composting and stuff like that would get you another point for that. And Heather was like all geeky about composting. We chatted a lot about composting, so she's into it. So, I mean, having somebody like that
Right.
is really good. And like, you can leave the bins down there and people can come get them and she can geek out about, composting.
Yeah.
But again, it's an easy one. It's a good service and it's really popular and common in a lot of my towns to do that. It just brings the trash down and you get a point for it. So.
What
would-
about reuse programs? What?
So the reuse programs, that is where your swap shed is going to come under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that will be, you won't get it for this year, but you would get it for the following year.
Okay.
The reuse programs take a while to get up and running. So for right now, I don't think you'd be eligible for those at that. But everything else,
When would it have, if we could get it up and running, when?
so the other one,
Line.
yeah. So a lot of them are things like what Tom was talking about when like Rainham had an electronic collection and to do like a big collection kind of thing like that. Or to start a fix-it clinic and repair that's like months in advance. So a lot of these things really have a long lead time
Right.
to do that. And then the swap shed does come under that category. So you're good at that.
Okay.
The other points that you did not get last year are the waste outreach and education.
Yeah.
And again, you had a lot of the stuff on there. It was the timing wasn't good. So this year we just, again, with me, poking everyone early, getting it in early. A lot of these things you have already on there. So as long as you have, again, all these minimum requirements that you have on there. The required one, this is new. You have to have pizza boxes can be recycled on your website. And you can't have any documentation that got buried somewhere that they can't be. This is our number one question on Recycle Smart MA. So you have to have pizza boxes can be recycled. And then on your dedicated solid waste page, you have to have direct links to, I'm sorry, this is on the back list, back page. You have to have the, sorry, no, it's right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's on the yellow in there. There we go.
Right here.
Right back on. You do have to have Beyond the Bin directory, Recycle Smart MA, and the Recycle Smart widget. And I haven't checked, but I think you have. A widget is a tool. So when instead of having like a link, you just click on the picture
Oh,
and
okay.
it pops up. Kind of think that's a widget or a tool.
All these.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, it's like an app kind of thing. Yeah, it's a visual thing. And then once you do have those, then you need to pick 5 of these requirements here. And I mean, I'll let you guys read them. I don't want to take up any more of your time and go through them, but all those things that I'll be sending you from now until May on my weekly Missy Minis will be a lot of these things. Like they'll say, hey, get this up. This is one of the activities. Hey, get this up kind of thing. And some of them are just really easy and you're probably doing it already. Let's see, nobody does a press release, but anyway. So there's just ones that you would pick out there. So you just need to do 5. And if you need help deciding what to do or whatever, I can help you with that. And that is
Tom,
for that.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Yes, Peter?
the last mailing that went out from the Board of Health was when Roz and Todd were there working. And Roz had printed up a form, a press release, so to speak, that said, this is what's collected, this is what's not collected. And it was a mailing that went out to everyone's home. But in that mailing were things like pizza boxes were not collected because of the oils that were in the boxes. So I think there's going to be a little bit of confusion out there as to now you can recycle things that you could not recycle before. I know we don't have it in the budget, but can part of that 6,000 be spent on a mailing, notifying these people in one collective way? What can be collected, what's not collected, what can be brought to the landfill station, what can't be brought?
Sorry, just
He wants to know if we can use part of our money
to.
to send out mailers.
Oh, gosh, yes, yes, that is one of
Okay.
the top ways the communities spend their money is to send out mailers, and that's highly suggested, putting ads in any local little newspapers you have, even social media, paying for ads for that. So yeah, most definitely. The other thing you might even want to do is, if there's certain pizza places in town that everyone orders from, maybe work with them and have like posters and flyers in there for them or, whatever as well. But, really getting people where they're eating pizza. And then, the big thing is, yes, the boxes are recyclable, but you must remove the food, the little Barbie doll table in the middle, cheese saver, I think they're technically called. And then any of that, the wax paper or anything like that. It's okay if the
Right.
box is greasy or anything, that's fine. But yeah, so that's definitely a preferred use and the most common.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. And then the other thing is, so the other thing I just wanted to suggest the composting. So you will get the organic point and it's just also, whoops, I'm sorry. That's right. I gave it to him before he left. There we go. Sorry. Oh, Tom, going. Oh, here we go. I know I had it, but, so this is, I put a question in. There used to be 2 compost bins that we had on state contract, but there only seems to be this one. It's actually, it's made down in Fall River, so,
Really?
yeah. So it's, a nice to promote American product. They come in different sizes. I wouldn't go crazy. I mean, if you do want to do it, I wouldn't make your life difficult and order different sizes. Just pick one and go with it.
Mhm.
The biggest is usually the best, and not that much different in price. And then again, you need to have education materials. I'll provide them to you, or if Heather, want to give this to Heather, she can come up with her own. She can even do a little video of herself kind of thing, whatever, or I can do it as well. So again, by doing something like that, you get a point for it and it helps your residents. So. And I'm all done talking the whole meeting. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A lot of information to cover. You probably felt rushed, and you was. Next is discuss or act on any items received at the transfer station. What that means is I had questions for this committee, and knowing that Missy would probably be here. So we discussed earlier in this meeting our banned items. And also we alluded to the list of items that we received. Right now, the items we received, we don't have anything there for rugs. Some rugs have come in a couple times. Fortunately, the attendant is feeling a little bit more comfortable calling me on a Saturday, which is fine.
Mhm.
And that way there I can feel out what's really they talking about. And usually my answer is acceptable because it's not a whole house of rug. It's usually area rugs.
Mhm.
And they can fit in the town bag on the curbside, and they can go
Yep.
that way. And usually a static, the problem's resolved. But we could end up with a big roll of rug that comes in.
Yeah.
So we don't have a price for that. That's something to consider unless there's a market for that.
And it-
Is that
It's pro- it's
textile?
pro- Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, is that textile?
No. I don't believe so.
Okay,
What did you say?
He asked if rugs are considered textile.
It depends. If they are like a small area throw rug, then yes. But carpeting, like wall-to-wall carpeting, it is not. That can
okay.
be thrown in the trash.
Right. And usually a big job like that, there's a contractor involved, so they should be able to
Yeah.
take that back.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if we should have that item on that list.
Sure, I think so.
And then that, we would need to come up with a price, and that would be a recommendation for the selectmen to act on, I believe.
Yes, correct.
You'd also want a size associated with it as well. They
I
are
would
very
think so.
heavy.
Mhm. Especially if
Yeah.
they've been around a while.
You have to give the attendant something that he can go by, as well as the residents, as to what can be put in a bag, what has to be paid for separately, and what can go in textile.
Right.
So the rugs are very heavy for a reason that we might not all think about. Is a lot of people, when they get rid of that rug, it's not a clean rug. It has collected dirt and dust, so they
Yeah.
become much heavier than themselves when they were first purchased. So your weight for those are pretty heavy.
Yeah, I think it's more than a couch. I mean, at first I was thinking, well, a sectional couch right now, we're charging $40. And sometimes these rugs can be heavier than that sectional couch, but I mean,
Sure.
that's a lot of money right there too.
Yeah.
And you're about the same volume, volume and weight. It's not too much heavier than a sectional, but it is heavier than a sectional. I think $40 or $50 is the right number.
Yes, sir.
Did you take the padding with it?
It would be the project, yeah, that would be all considered, yeah. And padding could go in the bags if they're willing to cut it up,
That's
and
right.
it'd be a
too.
lot cheaper too.
Yeah, yeah.
I can look up prices to see if, what others are charging.
And the other thing, the other item, I mean, Missy hit on it in her presentation very lightly, is solar panels.
Yep,
There are, I Googled it a little bit, there are companies out there waiting to take them, they repurpose them, recycle them. If we keep it on that ban list, they don't, it's not like they have nowhere to go. There is a market out there. Are we gonna provide that service? I would think, if we are, I would like the two items to go together for approval, but I'm thinking the solar panels, usually it's gonna be a full replacement, so a company coming in replacing panels should be taking the panels.
Well, that's my question. I was gonna ask you, why would you want to get involved in it, seeing that effect?
That's, well, you gotta get involved to say yeah or nay.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
yeah,
saying no is still being involved.
gotcha.
So those are the two items that came to light to me. And which I press on this committee for direction.
Well, I mean, we can tell people that if in the town of Dayton, that if they purchase carpet, the installer has to take the old carpet away. The problem becomes, they charge for that. So they're gonna pay a fee to either have the installer take it away or pay a fee to have it disposed of. As well as, some people install their own carpets and don't have the ability to have an installer take it away. So I'm all for a separate price for carpeting at the landfill, transfer station.
And if we can get this approved, even at the selectman level soon, because that could be an item for bulk item pickup and a curbside, so it'd be nice to have that established price already.
Yep, the agenda for the fourth week in March is not established yet. We can get it on that agenda.
Skip the Board of Health, right? Just go, it's just a price increase.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't think the Board of Health would be necessary. What do you think, Barbara? You're on the board.
I don't know, because I think because we did make the original pricing, maybe we should. And
Um,
it will be, I mean, we'll have a meeting before then.
I don't think the Board of Health made the original pricing. It was this board that made the original pricing and then submitted to the Board of Health. Then the Board of Health
Yeah.
submitted it to the
Right.
BOH, I mean, to the
Right.
BOS.
Board of Health doesn't have a meeting until the 18th, so we're looking at 3 weeks.
Yeah. So when is your meeting? Peter?
It'd be the last meeting, like around the 28th, somewhere around there, or it would be
Okay.
the fourth Wednesday.
Okay. You were going to look up pricing?
26.
I'm sorry.
You were
26th.
going to look up
Yes,
pricing?
yes. For carpeting and the solar panels. So if,
What's your opinion on that? Should we say no, put them on our ban list?
That would be the easy way.
yeah, it would. And I think the companies that you looked into, and I know there's more coming on.
There's one in town.
I'm sorry.
NER,
There's one in
right?
town.
Yeah, so finding out what the charge is for that. I mean, so if they will take it back, then you don't have to keep, you don't have to accept everything. And that's such a small wonky.
Yeah,
thing
because
that-
it's all heavy and that's all
Yeah,
manpower.
yeah.
Okay, so
I think I'd wait.
on the solar panel,
Yeah.
don't even act on it.
You're a small community. How many, do we even know how many houses in town have them?
I know somebody that would know. It's
Okay.
probably, if I was to guess, 36.
It's 4 or 5 houses on my street.
Yeah, there's probably 36 of, 3 dozen or 4 dozen
Okay,
off the top of my head.
yeah,
But how often are they going to dispose of them?
yeah.
You usually have a life cycle of 25 years.
I was gonna say they're, unless they're a long
So what do you
time.
think about next year?
Well, they've been on for 20 some years already.
Those are the ones you're talking about?
What would be the problem if we put it on the list now?
I don't see a problem with it. She's
Yeah,
got
no,
reservations.
we're
You
adding,
can
it.
always change it
You
too.
can always change it, yeah.
I'm suggesting put it on a ban list, so if someone's just surfing the
Yeah,
website, they got the information they needed.
Yeah.
Move on.
yeah.
I agree.
And I mean, they can go up to, what is it now? They used to be NER.
No, that's not the name that came up. It was someone else.
I
That's
know.
all they're doing is just solar.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
recycling.
really?
They're actually
Pretty much.
recycling.
Because they're
So
actually
where is that?
recycling them.
Where's the
It's
closest?
recycling. It's online. It's in time. I have a
Oh,
feeling.
it's local in time.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
I mean, if they had to go to Boston or something to get rid of it, that's one thing. But it's only a skip and a jump. Let them handle it. Not gonna make money on it.
So that'll be two separate motions then?
Sure,
Rugs, I suggest either $40 or $50.
yep. I'd go with the 50. Those can get pretty heavy.
Well, we have to go by sizing too.
Right.
So that means you're gonna have somebody measuring it.
Do we have
Okay.
do we have a scale at the transfer station, Tom?
No,
No?
I know that would be the easy way to weigh it.
You don't have a scale, do you?
when they show up with 2 or 3 guys in the truck to unload it, that's a good indicator.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The solar panels?
No, that's gone.
I thought
I'm
it
not
was,
doing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So the rug is, the problem is, it's not just, there's 3 problems. The weight, the volume, how big it is, and also it's not on the price list.
Yeah.
So we can solve
Who would
most of
take,
them problems tonight.
who would take it locally if we don't do it? Who would take it?
The vendors,
But I mean, can they bring it up to NER? NER?
they can, it's gonna be about 160 to get on the scale, and then they pay by the weight after that.
Really, that much?
Yeah, it's not NER anymore. It's wind waste.
Yeah,
How about one way? Oh, no, that's just metals.
Yep.
Just metals.
you know, we don't wanna go too high, because now we are flirting with the side of the road.
I know. And then we end up with it.
We're seeing that now. Saw a big bag of garbage in the middle of 130
Yep.
the other day. Couldn't believe it.
So I believe Peter made a motion for $50.
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, that passes. I need a motion to put the solar panels on the banned item list at this time.
I'll make, go ahead, you do.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Motion made in second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes too.
We didn't talk about the size,
Of the panels or rugs?
the rugs.
That has to be at the attendant's discretion, and Lisa will have to be, Elizabeth will have to be trained for the phone call, for the curbside. If it's going curbside, it's probably big. But if it's an area rug, it can go and encourage them to put in the bag.
Right,
Go on down.
right.
No, if it's a rug, I'll just, like with mattresses, the tenant has to review it and
If it's multiple bags, that means it's big.
Yeah, they'll get their sharp little rug cutters.
Okay, anyone have anything else on the items at the transfer station? Okay. I also asked Elizabeth to put on the curbside bulky item week. I'm suggesting the week of the 12th
Of
through
what?
the 16th of May. That'll be 2 weeks before Memorial Day. Historically, we flirt around with the week before, and that's becoming a problem
Mhm.
for a lot of things. So if we can go 2 weeks before or after the cow chip, that's what I'm recommending. I don't know if the Board of Health has an opinion on it. I think usually they just want to know what our availability is. So I suggest May 12th through the 16th on your appropriate or assigned curbside day.
That's fine with me. Board of Health, Board of Selectmen will just make the announcement.
Right, we gotta start advertising that.
advertise.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so when the other gentleman had mentioned when you had mentioned the free buy nothing or, the buy nothing groups.
Yep.
When would you actually want to start that almost immediately kind of thing, promoting that? And that will help bring down your bulky waste.
We can. I don't know if the committee needs to act on it.
Okay.
I want to make sure my
Yeah.
my TA is on board with that.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
want to assume he was, he
Right.
just didn't get back to me.
Right,
That
right,
doesn't mean-
right, okay.
That doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to make sure he's on board.
But that would be a good way
He
to
was
help.
he was gonna double check on whatever legal stuff he
Okay.
worries about.
So Tom, on the bulky week, are we not taking carpets curbside? Because
We should be able to,
you want to still do it?
if the price is there. People either call you or stop to see you. So basically, if it's an area rug, encourage them, put them in a bag. If it's multiple bags, you know it's a $50 item. And that's still a savings, because, oh, no, you're still,
Not taking as mattresses and box springs.
no, because that still needs to be vetted by the attendant. We charged $15 for the stop last year, right?
Yep.
So they're still getting a bargain, they're not paying the full price at the transfer station, right? Any other items not reasonably accepted, anticipated within 48 hours of the posting? Next scheduled meeting,
Okay. First Monday of April, the 7th.
4/7 is our next meeting. How's the time of day working for everyone?
Good.
Good.
Bob had to rush out to get a little one. I don't know if that's a daily thing.
I don't think it is.
Okay,
It may be, but I don't think it is.
we got bulk of the meeting done before you left.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
I just rambled on a lot.
All right, so we're staying with 3 o'clock.
Need to ramble on with us, believe me.
Any public input? Hearing none? Do we want to approve the minutes for January 6th?
Yes.
January 6th, says December 9th.
Which one do you have?
Probably in this part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's over here. Give a quick one.
Sorry about that.
When you get bored, you get something to read.
Except the.
I needed someone to make a motion.
What's the date?
What's the date?
January 6th.
I make a motion to approve January 6 minutes of the Waste Reduction Committee.
Second,
Further discussion? All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh, I'll make it.
Motion.
You make a motion, I'll second it.
There you go. Any further discussion?
Nope,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
guys. You too.
See you, Peter.
Yep, thanks.